This is how I was finally able to enjoy gnocchi by frying them in their traditional browned butter sauce until golden. They get a very crispy skin on them that's satisfying to bite through. Very tasty. Historically, gnocchi are Italian balls of miscellaneous starch bound into dumplings with egg and or cheese. The version most popular among Italian Americans is flour and potato, and even if you do the trick where you roll the dumpling across a fork to make lots of surface area on which sauce can cling, I just think they taste like fluffy nothing. So here's how I do it instead. I'd say one large russet-type potato for 2 portions of gnocchi. That's about a 1 pound or half kilo floury potato, stabbed maniacally so as to release steam while cooking. I think the best way to get potato for gnocchi is to make baked potatoes for dinner the previous night, but throw in an extra potato while you're at it. Just bake them until soft and squishy, like an hour. If you don't have a leftover baked potato, you can just throw one in the microwave. It only takes about 10 minutes in there for me to get it soft. The flavor is not as good, but at least it's drier than a boiled potato. People do boil potatoes for gnocchi, but drier potato is easier to mold into dumplings, and the flavor from the baked potato is superior, I think. This is the baked one. After it's cooled a sec, I just pull the flesh out with my fingers. This allows me to feel around for pieces like that. That's a leathery bit of flesh from right next to the skin that had dried out. We won't be able to smash that up smooth, so get it out. I just want the fluffy bits. A ricer is a great tool for mashing this up, but a fork is also fine. Just smoosh it until it's smooth, and then I'm going to make a little koi pond in the center where I'll put my egg, just the egg yolk. I'm making dinner for 2, and a whole egg would be too much, too wet. Plus, I think they do taste a little better when you only use yolk. I say a pinch of salt per portion. With dumplings this big, I think the interior really does need at least a little seasoning, plus some cheese on the inside. This is pecorino. That'll contribute some salt as well. I'll just break up that yolk and then flour. I think the common approach with flour and gnocchi is you put in as little as necessary to make this come together into a moldable dough. I started with half a cup and ended up putting in about a full cup. That's like 120 grams. A lot of people emphasize working this as little as possible as soon as you put in the flour. They want to keep their gnocchi soft, minimize gluten development. But I hate fluffy gnocchi. They taste like baby food. Give me that chew. Plus, for the pan frying method I'm going to show you, you kind of need the gnocchi to be more solid. If they're too soft, they'll break apart in the pan. There we go. Smooth, not too sticky, but still quite soft and squishy because of the potato. It's still going to be a dumpling, not just a giant hunk of pasta. This is easier to roll out and shape if you let it sit and let the flour hydrate for like 15 minutes. Wish I had a drink. Oh, I do. Check out JuneShine, the sponsor of this video. Yes, I'm advertising hard kombucha in a gnocchi video. Won't be the first time I baffle somebody's nona. Kombucha naturally wants to ferment into alcohol. The makers here have simply decided to not fight it, and you get a product that's about 6% alcohol, like beer. June is a kind of kombucha, JuneShine, like moonshine. Get it? And they make all these creative flavors. Look at this crazy one. That color is from activated charcoal. Surprisingly tasty. This one is citrusy. JuneShine is gluten-free, unlike beer. There's no artificial colors or syrups. The ingredients are 100% organic, and because it's kombucha, it's filled with probiotics. I mean, it's still an alcoholic beverage, but even putting aside the health stuff, it's got this beautiful, complex, fermented flavor. JuneShine is in a lot of stores here in the U.S. now. If you want to get a box like this in the mail, it works out to like $2 a can, depending on how much you buy, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping with my link in the description. Do us both the favor. Thank you, JuneShine. Now, after a quick rest, we're good to roll this out. Just roll it out into a snake. When the snake gets too long, cut it in half and keep rolling. Then the only trick to cutting these out into little pillows is to kick them away with the knife. Cut and kick, cut and kick. It's a dance craze. The cut sides are extremely sticky, and if 2 dumplings touch, you'll never get them apart. Sounds like a parable. Roll out the other half and repeat. This might not look like enough gnocchi for 2 people, but this is a very heavy dinner, especially with the browned butter. No part of me wants to eat more than half of this. And I'm not going to do the fork trick to give these pretty little ridges. That would actually reduce the amount of browned surface that I could get on each dumpling. I really don't care about the shape of these at all. I just want bite-sized lumps of dough. Who cares if they're not all the same dimensions as long as they're all about the same size? Into a little pot of boiling water these go. I do find I have to plop them in almost one at a time or else they'll stick to each other. Just give them a quick stir to make sure they're not sticking to the bottom, and then I'll immediately throw a huge knob of butter into my non-stick pan and turn the heat on medium, get it melting, because these only take like 2 minutes to cook. When they all float, they're cooked enough, especially because we're going to cook them a lot more in the pan. I'll just drain those as dry as possible through the pot lid. Dry because we won't be able to brown them in here until we boil out the remaining water anyway. You can do this in another kind of pan as long as you keep them moving constantly to keep them from sticking, but the Teflon makes it so so much easier, and you don't lose any crust to the bottom of the pan. I've seen lots of cooks let their gnocchi brown a little in the butter. I'm just taking it to the extreme. When I've gotten some good color on these, I'll throw in my sage. Totally traditional to do gnocchi in browned butter and sage. I like to tear in whole leaves. They fry beautifully crisp in the butter. But sage is very strong. Don't do this unless you're sure you like sage. I love it. I need some more butter in there. Things are looking too dry. Once the sage leaves are crispy, these are done. I might give one a taste just to check for seasoning. I'll toss a little more salt in there, but once I get this on the plate, I'm going to cover it in grated pecorino, which is very salty too. I don't want the dumplings salty enough on their own. If they were, they'd be too salty. Those sage leaves are not just for garnish. You got to try eating them whole. They have this delicious, crumpling, crispy pastry texture in the mouth. Now, I'm not saying my gnocchi are objectively better than your Nona's. I'm just saying that we can all enjoy our own dinners more if we give ourselves permission to be honest with ourselves about what we like and deviate from tradition accordingly. Speaking of which, I've had this weird idea that orange zest would be good in this. Orange and sage are often paired together with turkey and duck and such, and yeah, that is a phenomenal combination. Experimentation!